Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game Over Cancer. I'm your host, Lucky Kerplucky. We are here all week raising money for the Canadian Cancer Society. The Canadian Cancer Society offers the largest support system in the country for those with cancer as well as their family, friends, and caregivers. They provide programs and services to help answer questions about cancer, manage life with cancer, find community and connection, and build wellness and resilience. These programs are offered in person, online, and over the phone, and many of them are available in different languages. To learn more, you can visit cancer.ca, and if you would like to donate, hit !D in the chat, like Phil7 did when we got a $13.89 donation saying test, test, test. Over the next 7 days, we will see 60 runners, that is 60, showcasing over 55 hours of speed runs. And we're ready for our first one. Tky619 will be playing Shantae and the 7 Sirens, any % beginner mode, no out of bounds. All right, Turkey, let's get this marathon started.
Well, hopefully I'll get off to a good start. So I'm Tky619, back again. This time I'm bringing 7 Sirens. This is the 5th game in the series. Also one of the longer any % runs that we have here. Today I brought Jake the Snake with me. Come on in, son. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jake the Snake. I am a Shantae and the 7 Sirens runner as well. I haven't run it a bit, but I'm here to help Turkey commentate.
Okay, so just a quick brief on the category itself. We'll touch up on the rest as we go, but beginner mode, basically, if you thought the original game was too hard, which I don't think too many people did, beginner mode is just for you. So this eliminates any way of death. So you have unlimited auto potions. There's no way we can die in this scenario. Also, Shantae's a little bit overpowered. There are other tweaks in the run as well, but we will touch upon that, as I say, as we go. Other than that, time will begin the moment I select normal costume. And from that point, at least for the first time, for the moment, I will leave in the capable hands of Jake while I just get myself rolling and stop shaking. So with that being said, as we do in Shantae, ret to go.
Ret to go! Awesome. So as Turkey stated earlier, there are some differences between all of the different modes that we have. Legacy mode is like the old game, original difficulty, but in beginner mode, as Turkey said, we are a bit more overpowered than we were before. Instead of Shantae doing 5 damage per hit, we now do 100 damage per hit. And on top of that, there are a bunch of other cool little changes that actually make it a bit different from the Legacy and Definitive mode runs, aside from just the damage. And I'll go over those as we come across them. First thing we're going to do is talk to the mayor and get this checklist. And then, of course, staple of every Shantae game, you have to save before you can go anywhere. The save guy will not let you leave unless you do that. And then we go ahead and talk to Harmony to make our first friend. That checklist that we got from the mayor is to make some friends around town. Shantae's a bit lonely after just getting to Arena Town, so she's off to make some new friends before the show can start. So now that we've got our first... Go ahead.
No, sorry. No, go on. I was just going to say yes, indeed. That's all I had.
Yes. Now that we've got our first friend, we're going to head down into the service area, is what it's called, and make some more friends. We are going to come across some other half-genies, some looking a bit less half-genie than others, but we're not going to worry about that too much.
Yeah, no. She's not here.
She's not here, exactly. But we've already made friends with 3 half-genies, maybe 2.5, but we'll say 3 for now.
So yeah, pretty much this is just getting things going. There's the odd enemy I'm trying to kill. There's an aspect of this run and this game that they introduced, which is the card system, and there are just a handful of cards that we want to collect just to pretty much just to speed certain things up.
Yeah, these cards are dropped by enemies, and you can equip them to give Shantae passive buffs. And as we get them, we'll go over them. We're not gonna really want our first one for a while, but if Turkey does get one early, he can get over the little cutscene that pops up straight away whenever you get your first monster card.
Yeah, the little thing that plays when you get your first card, you say, "Oh, these are monster cards," kind of scenario. So there's 2 major cards that we want. There is the odd couple of other cards that, if they pop up, would be able to help us out a little bit and give us some time saves here and there. But there are primarily 2 cards that will pop up a bit later. Weirdly enough, I have been killing the crab enemies that I can see at the moment because that's the first card I would like to get, but that's literally for a 1-second time save. For IGT as this run is, IGT is actually accurate for a change. We use IGT to judge the run of this game.
Yes, unlike other Shantae games where RTA is used, this is the only Shantae game where we use IGT to time the run. And I believe that's been the case since the very start of Seven Sirens speedrunning.
Almost. The little bit of news there, when this game first got released in 2020, it was notoriously using the CPU's power in PCs quite heavily. Even with consoles, it could be quite bad to the point where like PlayStation loads would be about 12 to 14 seconds at a time, and the Switch would be like 8, and depends on your PC. So to make the playing field more even across the board, not too far in, it was determined and agreed within the community to switch to IGT, just to even the playing field out.
Yeah, those PC loads were pretty bad. You could be sitting there for quite a while.
Fortunately, I now have PS5 to be able to play through, and it basically eliminates them practically for the most part. So this will be a much more streamlined performance.
Yes. Now we've made our way back into the service area after checking out what Risky was doing. We're just going to be damage boosting through all these enemies as well, because we don't really care about dodging them. Well, we do care about dodging them, but the ones we can't, we're just kind of like, whatever. Turkey's going to be killing some more crabs in here to try to get the card, but unfortunately, no card. No time save for you, Turkey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, lose the 1 second. It is what it is. A couple of 2 bonks for Phantom, because he likes his 2 bonks.
That's always what was one of my favorite parts of early Seven Sirens speedrunning, is just bonking your head on the glass as you're walking through, because there's not really much else you can do when you have no movement options. Yeah, we're gonna head further down to the service area, headed towards our first dungeon, which is the Water Lily's Den.
There'll be a couple of RNG elements in that dungeon, but nothing too drastic to start with. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, there goes my 1 second time save. That's what we wanted the crab card for, because the crab card actually allows you to crawl quicker. It's literally just for that one tunnel, and it becomes obsolete once we get the animal transformation upgrade in the first dungeon.
Yeah, still no monster card yet, so I feel like we're gonna get a surprise monster card perhaps in this dungeon, but we'll see.
We shall see. So, to touch up a little bit on the Water Lily Den, so most of the movement here is relatively straightforward for the most part to start, as we don't have any real animal transformations. Some of the places we're going to be coming up to are lockout rooms, where we have an enemy known as the Wetman, and they have the opportunity to block your attacks. So hopefully they don't block and we just kill them in one. So that's the first little bit of RNG, is how many blocks they want to do, and hopefully they don't do too many, because they also can click and charge, and yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, sometimes if Turkey gets really unlucky, they could do a few charges even, which hopefully we're not going to see. It's completely RNG whether they decide to block or not, but all you can basically do is alternate hits up and down to try to mitigate that.
Yeah, pretty much. Fortunately, this, as I say, this is minor RNG compared to what the run has to offer. So, yeah, we'll take what we can for the meantime, just to get things going, and just hope the later RNG decides to cooperate with us. Yeah,
that Wetman was a bit of a jerk there.
Yeah, that was a clear case of a Wetman just not wanting to play ball with me. So,
no,
it is what it is.
Later on, we'll see the red Wetmen, which decide to charge even more often and are a bit more of a jerks. Another cool thing about beginner mode that we just saw right there is normally a death pit would cause you to void out and go back to the start of the room, but since we're in beginner mode, we can just sort of bounce off of them, so we don't have to wait for any of the platforms to get extended. And we'll be seeing more abuse of that later on in this run as well.
Oh yeah, take advantage of that what we can. But coming up is one of our next parts of a little bit of RNG. We have mid-stage fights that happen with Risky Boots, villainous pirate. That's pretty much a staple across the series. Fortunately, because we are in beginner mode and we're doing a lot of damage, hopefully she'll just basically come towards us so we can just strike her down.
Nice.
That's what we want. Cool. And off to go get our own first transformation. I'll leave that with you, John.
Nice monster card. Yep, so now we've got our first transformation coming up from Plink. We get the Dash Newt. This is going to be our main form of transportation throughout at least the first half of the run. We'll be using it throughout the whole run, but there will be another movement upgrade that we get later on. The Dash Newt allows you to dash basically on command with no delay. So you're going to see a lot of that, basically Turkey dashing around all over the place. You could also crawl in between small spaces like Turkey just did right there. That allows you to get into through areas much quicker than you would normally be able to. Now we've got one more gauntlet coming up here with 2 Wetmen. We'll see how these treat him. Oh!
Stop blocking!
we got quite a few blocked from that first one.
Marathon luck, why not? It's bad luck.
Yeah.
This is normal luck for me, actually, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Right,
now we've got... Do you want me to talk about it, or do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So just introducing quickly.
All right. So our first boss right here is the Water Lily Siren. You can see there's 2 buttons on the side. Turkey's going to want to hit the button that moves her the opposite way of where that button is to try to get her towards the light. So in this case, Turkey's going to go to the left button to push her to the right. And then once she's in that light, she's going to start absorbing sunlight. And then he wants to get good platforms here to get a couple smacks on her. And that is the first boss.
I mean, at least that was opening with the first platform, so, we'll take it. It was further away than I would have liked, but overall, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. That's the little bit of RNG in that boss, is where those platforms end up spawning. But nicely done for the first boss.
We'll take it. So that gets us off to an alright start. We will not complain of that. So yeah, just to touch up a little bit with the fusion coins, which is what we got these animal transformations for. So as I mentioned, we got the first one, which is Newton. We have several that will pop up through the course of the run. They work these akin to mixing like the more traditional aspects of Shantae being her animal transformations with certain aspects of how it worked in Pirate's Curse with the Pirate Master's equipment, where they're just instantly active and they just snap on cue, just keeping the pace and the flow going constantly throughout the course of the run.
Yes.
So, there's my first card. Oh, sorry, I called that a bit too early.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
So not often it takes that long, but there you go.
Honestly, not bad to get it right there, but also you don't get that 1 second time save.
Nah.
A bit more on the transformations. As Turkey said, they are instant in this game. In previous games like Risky's Revenge and Half Genie Hero, you have to wait a little bit and do an actual dance for the transformation. So the quick transformations make for a nice, fast pace for the run overall. Now Turkey's going to be making his way to the opposite sides of the map to get these barnacles. These barnacles are a key item that we're going to be turning into the shopkeeper to get our next bit of magic. And once we get to that magic, I'll explain more about it.
Yeah, so welcome to Shantae and the Fetch quest. It's a bit of a prominent thing in a number of parts of this run. You probably noticed there as well, I decided to drop in with the Newt. For whatever reason, Newt actually falls quicker than Shantae does. So in any vertical drops that I can, I will be trying to trigger Newt whilst we are in Newt form to be able just to drop that a little bit quicker. Right. Oop. Other than that, for now, I think probably could pass it over for any donations or anything for this point.
All right, thank you so much. I really just want to announce that we have an incentive. We have a bid war. We have a bid war coming up for the Metroid Prime randomizer, and it's a suit bid war. So, do you want to see the default suit? Do you want to see the fusion suit? Well, you get to decide. So, if you send in your donations, just let us know in the comment box which of those suits you want to see. Last I checked, I'm actually going to refresh right now. No, fusion suit is still in the lead. So if you disagree and you think that default suit is the one that should be seen, then hit us up in the donations. If you'd like to see other incentives we have going on, you can hit !I in the chat. Shall I keep going, or do you have? Are you good to go now?
I think we're good to go. We're about to hit our first shop. So, first shop right here. Turkey's gonna turn in those barnacles to this explorer right here, and gonna get a fusion stone out of it. And are you gonna hit the first shop here, Turkey?
No,
Nope.
there's been a slight deviation as of late. Literally, I think it was towards the end of last week. There's been a slight, there's been like a new addition to the route, so I actually take the shop a little bit later now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think I know where you take it next, though. That's all good. But now we've turned in the fusion stone to plank, and we get our first dance, the seer dance. The seer dance will let us see hidden things throughout the entire run, like platforms, breakable pots, etc. But we only care about the platforms. And every time there is going to be something that Plank can reveal, she's going to appear on the top, wiggling around a little bit, just acting all cute and stuff. Just making sure you know that she's there. She's always there for you.
Yeah, if you thought Navi the Firefly from Ocarina of Time was annoying.
You're going to see her a lot. And whenever we get to the other genie powers as well, the other genies will be appearing, but Plank always comes first. So there's a demonstration of the power right there. After using the seer dance, those platforms appeared. But now we are headed towards our second town. Very nice move, by the way, Turkey, through that all those enemies. I always struggled getting through those whenever I was doing runs a while ago. But now we've got our little bit of a fun mini game. Not really fun for us, but it's fun enough. We've got this little hula dance that it is required. We have to throw stars at these tiki masks. Turkey's going to try to not miss a shot, but unfortunately, there's a little bit of RNG with how the tiki mask move and also how Shantae moves. Ideally, he gets this in 2 cycles. So far, so good. Very nicely done. Perfectly done.
We'll take it. The bit of RNG there, unfortunately, those movements where I was going a bit too slow to take the shots off where I wanted to, so unfortunately I had to just accept taking a delay. So it is what it is, but not the best, but at least we didn't miss shots, so I get the advantage of the gems.
Yep. But out of it, we get a nice little useless object. Which is actually not so useless. But now we're actually going to take our first shot where we're going to get a pike ball and the super pike ball. Interesting, super pike ball and the boomerang. Usually you get the super pike ball a little bit later.
Yeah, traditionally, yes, but it was literally, I think it was during last night's stream, although I never actually did do it, it just made me realise, we're going to pick it up later anyway. If I get the 100 gem bonus, why not just pick it up now? So there won't be too much of a major advantage from a general perspective, as Shantae's hair damage output will be more beneficial. But it will actually help us get a few more hits in on a certain enemy that we want for a certain card. So it's not mandatory, but it's just for why not? Why not now?
Yeah. I'll explain more about that later whenever we get there, but we are coming up on that enemy. But now we are in the mossy biome, but we're not going to stay here for long, as we are just about exiting to go talk to Uncle Mimic. To get a nice little valve that helps us reach the second dungeon.
Yes, so dungeon 2. Okay, so no, I'm getting ahead of myself now. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I do apologise in advance. My mind is struggling to think of things these days at the minute, so I might jump like 2 stories ahead before we get there.
Yeah, there's also a little bit of a stream delay on our end and Turkey's end, so it's a little weird, but it's fine. We need that handle to raise the water a little bit. But now we are headed into our second dungeon, Coral Mines.
So, as we know, actually, coming to the Coral Mines, so just the main things to touch up in here. So one of the things we are looking for is a particular card, but it's not just the card. This is also going to be home of one of the more annoying bosses when it comes to RNG. Not quite the worst, but when we talk RNG in everyone, this alongside Dungeon 4 are the two dungeons we're mostly talking about. So hopefully the cards are in our favour. Lol. Sorry.
Yep.
Bad jokes.
That card's...
Why not?
that card isn't going to come until after the mini boss. And I'll explain a bit more about what it does. It does affect our next transformation coming up, which shouldn't take too long to get to. We just have to get a couple of keys at first. You're also going to see those little gem enemies that Turkey's just going to be doing a quick dance to take off all their gems so that they're not really too much of a problem. Normally they can shoot off projectiles and be annoying, but just doing that quick little dance gets rid of their gems so that they're no longer annoying.
Yeah, it also keeps them stationary, so it just makes it easier just to get the movement around them. So there's always a plus there.
Yep, and it basically costs no time at all to do so.
It's other than that, we're just pretty much just on the quest at the minute to just get a bunch of keys so we can actually make it to the mini boss of the dungeon. Oh, I'm going a bit crazy here. Take the damage as beginner mode. We can't die. It'll be fine.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right.
Now we're coming up on our second mini boss right here. In just a couple minutes, or not a couple minutes, like about 30 seconds, I'd say.
Not far off. It's got these little puzzles things, which is what we need to get through to get the fire going, get the key molded. There we go. Pretty much. Once we get the key, we move over, and then we'll get on to our next mini boss.
She's gonna look a little familiar.
Yeah, as it turns out, they're all risky boots. So
Every single one is risky boots. She decided to run away this time. She's a little bit more shy after the first encounter. But now we are going to be talking to Vera to get our second transformation, the Gastro Drill. The Gastro Drill will allow us to drill through sand, but as you're going to see, it is quite slow. Annoyingly slow. But Turkey's going to be killing a bunch of these driller enemies to try to get their monster card, because getting their monster card actually speeds up the drilling. And with how much drilling is in this run, he definitely wants to see it as early as possible. And that's what the Super Pike Ball is pretty useful for, is killing those guys so that without having to really go out of your way.
yeah, pretty much. It's not just for this. There's a section that'll be coming up not long after this. There's the primary reason why we want the driller card. It could effectively make a difference of about 30 to 40 seconds for the course of the run. So, of course, the sooner we get it, the better. But as long as we get it just before that specific point, then, we'll be happy.
Nice.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Very nice.
Fortune is on my side. It's kind of good because my execution's slightly off, but it's not drastically bad.
You're doing just fine.
Yeah. I'm not finding a way to die in an undiable run, so at least that's a plus.
Yes. But now we've got our second boss coming up. We have the Coral Siren. So the Coral Siren can do a couple of different moves at the start. She can either throw bombs, do a charge, or go and flick that lever and then jump over. We want her to flick the lever because...
Oh, the lever, baby, please. Show
everything else
mercy.
wastes a little bit of time.
Oh, hello.
Very nice RNG. Awesome.
Oh, hello.
And with that, we can just smack her a couple times, and that's the entire boss fight.
Yep, so pretty much she has one of 3 different things she can do. She can just dive into the screen and try to swipe you down. She can do bombs away, which is pretty much throwing a bunch of bombs, or she can pull the lever. Now, fortunately, because it's beginner mode, and even in the general modes, you're guaranteed that if she does both of her attack scripts, you're guaranteed the next one will be a lever pull. So, of course, if she pulls the lever straight away, that's the best case. That's where we save the most time. And if she chooses to do bombs away and dives, then well, we know the lever's going to be pulled at least not far off of that. Yeah. Now on to more questing.
Yep, I think now's a good time for some donations.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah,
Really enjoying this run. I'm just like mesmerized by all the colors and stuff. I'm like, oh. I should tell you, we have some great prizes up for grabs. Thanks to our friends at Capcom, we'll be giving away Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 4, and Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection 1 and 2. And yeah, right? And then also, thanks to ProPiece, we'll be giving away a copy of Monster Hunter Wilds. I've been watching my partner play that, and it is a beautiful game. It looks like tons of fun. So a minimum $5 donation is going to get you in the draw to win like one of those keys. So get your donations in. Also, just as a reminder, not only will you get a chance at winning one of those prizes, you can vote for the Metroid Prime randomizer. Do you want the default suit? Do you want the fusion suit? Get your votes in. Let us know in the chat.
Alright, so coming up, you will see the exact reason why the driller card is so valuable in the speed run. This is pretty much what we do. So we're on the quest for some shells that a guy that we passed not long ago wants, and yeah, the bulk of this section is entirely covered in sand.
Yeah.
So of course, if you do not have the driller card, yeah, this is where you lose the 30-40 seconds plus. It can be pretty devastating.
Definitely a PB killer over here.
Oh yeah, that's where the PB range can be now. Pretty much, if certain RNG doesn't work out, the big RNG doesn't work out in your favor, that's pretty much you're done.
Yeah,
but stop you from doing it right now.
Nice dodges right there.
Okay.
Yeah, generally the sorry. Generally, while the driller card is pretty important to get, you're pretty likely to get it by this point already. If you haven't, then kind of sucks. Yeah. But
it can happen.
RNG is, yeah, it can happen, but generally you will have it by this point, for the most part. Turkey got pretty lucky getting it in that first dungeon. Or not first dungeon, but second dungeon, I should say.
The point where we want it, at least. Anywhere in that dungeon is considered to be good to be like the higher end RNG. But as long as you get
a second one.
Yeah, why not? I'll take all of them. Unfortunately, double cards do not stack to make it super duper fast. Otherwise, that'd be awesome. But yeah,
that would be a pretty neat quirk, honestly.
Which is kind of a fun fact, actually. Although we won't be aiming for these certain cards, there are certain abilities from the cards where you actually do require to get multiples of that card before the ability becomes triggered.
Yes, I don't remember which ones those are off the top of my head. I think like the Scorpman card is one of them.
Squat Gal, I believe. I think you need 3 of them in order to trigger her effect, which I think it's something to do with less magic consumption on White Ball abilities, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, I don't quite remember. But after turning in those mermaid shells, we're gonna get the lucky amulet. Sorry, I interrupted you there, Turkey.
No, carry on. No, go for it.
And with that lucky amulet, we're gonna head back to town, which normally you think going up would be faster, but in this case, we're just gonna warp back to Tree Town from the warp dance. So we go up to go down to go back up. And now we're going to
just number 2.
Yep, dance number 2, the refresh dance. This dance is not quite as useful, but you're going to see Turkey use it a few times with the run, at least where required. But there are a couple times where it is actually a faster in terms of combat, and we'll go over that whenever that pops up.
Yeah, for the most part, refresh dance is pretty much there for situational positions, things that you have to have the refresh dance for in order to progress.
Yep. But now that we've got the refresh dance, we're going to head all the way back to the other side of the island. This game likes making you go through the entire island to get to the next destination. There is quite a bit of backtracking in this, but luckily the warps make that pretty painless for the most part.
Good old traditions of Metroidvania.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so we'll get our first instance of where refresh dance is required. This old man needs waking up. I mean, I'm talking about myself, not the character in the game, but that's beside the point.
I honestly wish something like that existed, so that I could just wake up and be completely energized right away.
It would be nice.
Mm-hmm. But now we're going to head into the laboratory and start using the refresh chance on some of these statues right here. The reason why we're going out of our way to kill these enemies is to get the Dagron balls. Do you want to explain what the Dagron balls are, Turkey?
They are the mystical Dagron balls that are a part of Squid Baron's little game that he wants us to do. He sent us on a quest to fetch the Dagron balls, which for some reason he has 3 of, and I'm not too sure why there's 3, but that's pretty much what we're set to do, and it's apparent Squid Baron has it. I think story-wise he wants it to do with a part of a game he's trying to create.
Something like that. I don't quite remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I actually read the story of this game, I'm not gonna lie. Something you kind of lose when you just get into speed running, unfortunately.
Yeah. The stories of these games are quite goofy, though, and enjoyable. I do recommend giving these games a good old playthrough.
I will say this is probably one of the best renditions of Squid Baron, though.
Oh yeah, he is incredibly cute, and his dialogue is really good. He just gets goofier and goofier as the games go on, honestly.
Mm-hmm. He's a fan favorite. He's one of those 4-4 breakers.
Nice clean Wetman RNG as well to get the last Dagron ball.
Exactly. So now we have all 3. We can go make our way across to Squid Baron. He's just to the left of us from here. He will take the Dagron balls and will let us pass through where we can enter best dungeon of the run, Sea Vent.
Yes.
For one reason and one reason only, which we will soon see.
Sea Vent is a very fun dungeon casually. It was one of my favorite dungeons casually, and it's also a really fun dungeon to watch be gone through really fast. The transformation in this dungeon is incredible, and whenever we get to it, I'll explain more about it. But for now, we just gotta make our way up. Now, Turkey picked up that boomerang at that shop earlier, which he can actually use to hit these colored switches that change the blocks from solid to not.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with Newt there. Don't ask.
And normally these spikes are supposed to void you out, but in beginner mode they don't, except if we crush ourselves with the boomerang, we actually can void ourselves out and go back to the very start of the room.
So yeah, when we mentioned the change in shop, this is particularly what the new strat was brought in by Narakaf. It is the boomerang technique. We sacrifice a bit of time to go into the shop to pick it up, but overall it does save about 5 seconds if done properly. So it's not a major time save, but it's enough to warrant to be worth picking up.
Yep. Right here, Turkey's actually going to use the refresh chance to heal these guys, and that instantly kills them.
Wow. Okay, I'm having trouble here.
Is now a good time to jump in with a donation?
Sure.
Thanks. We have $100 from Nori, who says, "Luck has been good thus far. May it continue through the run, and bring all the runs you do." That $100 goes towards the fusion suit. So the fusion suit is a huge lead, and if you disagree with that, you should also get your donations in. Back to you.
Thank you, Nori. Thanks, Grandpa.
So unfortunately I have failed in terms of showing the new technique off there, because that boomerang did not like me today. Never had that much trouble with it since learning it, but it is what it is, unfortunately. My apologies, and my apologies for ruining it. But yeah, we'll do what we can from here.
It's okay. I mean, you only picked up that technique a couple of days ago, so it's fine.
Can I just say it's nerves and people just believe me? Can we go with that?
Sure. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Oh, cool. Right. Get our last key for now.
Yep.
And we have another mini boss.
I wonder who it's gonna be.
I think I might have accidentally revealed that.
Oh wait, have you? Oh shoot, you're right. It's Risky
maybe.
Boots.
maybe just a little bit.
Yeah. She's a little jumpy this time.
Just a tiny bit. But now she's down, we get to get... The reason why I say this is the best dungeon of the run, my personal favourite transformation, one of my favourite transformations in the entire series, this is Bonker Tortoise. So Bonker Tortoise is the speed of the run, assuming I actually can maintain its ability, because the best way I can describe it, for anyone familiar with Pirate's Curse, so Pirate's Curse you have the boots, which is basically that speed mechanic. That's pretty much like having a toddler, a hyperactive toddler. The Bonker Tortoise is effectively giving that toddler a kilo of sugar. Much harder to control, but it works out when you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it is a very fun transformation to watch Turkey go through quickly, just because of how fast it goes and how accurate he is with it. But now we've got our third boss, which unfortunately does not utilize the Bonker Tortoise all that much. We've got Tube Siren. She's going to start throwing out some of her tentacles at the start. All you got to do is smack them. It's basically an auto-scroller of a boss. Just sort of wait for her to finish throwing them all out. At the end of a phase, she's going to throw out a couple at a time. Oh, I guess not right there. But definitely at the end of this phase, she'll throw out a couple.
Ah, that was a bad choice on my part.
Turkey can also use the boomerang to hit the tube worms if they're a little bit far away, because they do go down after a certain amount of time.
So yeah, this is one of those fights, at least for the first phase, where your damage output actually has no bearing on the fight. It's about how many of the tube worms you hit, rather than how much damage you actually do. It's random whether or not she decides to throw out multiples of them at a given time. If she does, that's where we could take advantage. Unfortunately, I brain farted and I chose poorly there when I had 3 on there, and I chose to fire off my boomerang to the right for 1 instead of the left for 2. So that's just on me. Now we get bonker fun.
Yep, we're gonna see a lot of fun bonker movement throughout the rest of the run.
Yeah, hopefully I execute it well. If there's anything I would like to go well, just to be able to show what this run really can do, it's the bonker movement. It's actually a number of the movement techniques is actually harder than it may seem in areas.
Yeah, this next area, especially the bonker movement, looks really cool.
Right. Oh god. Okay.
And now we've hit our next area, the Sunken Shipyard. Turkey is going to be bouncing around all over the place with the Bonker Tortoise whenever he gets the chance to.
A little sketchy at first. There we go, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, this is looking real clean.
Whew.
But now we're going to get our next fusion stone from this little ghost pirate lady down here, and then we're just going to leave. And head up to the next town, Armor Town.
Yep, so back to where we started, and from there we'll start making our way over to Armor Town, which requires Bonker Tortoise to reach. Because there'll be a couple of stone blocks that'll be in the way, and we have to take that out. Oh, bad RNG there. Unfortunately, the pincer's jumping out is just down to the game at that point.
Yeah, you've probably noticed that anytime that Turkey gets hit by an enemy while in the Bonker Tortoise mode, it sort of knocks him out of it, which means he has to restart it. There's a lot of places where that's unavoidable, though, so... there was one...
No, go on.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say it is what it is. That's it.
Yeah. But now we've got our next dance. We've got the Zap Dance. Or Spark Dance, I guess is what it's called.
So this is one of the few dances where it's unlike the others where it's less situational. It is still situational, but it actually will activate as effectively a screen nuke for certain damage. Of course, for the most part in beginner mode, that's kind of a moot point as our hair damages that are much more powerful. But there is going to be certain bits later on where it can be more useful for offensive play, not just for situational play.
Yeah. That's going to be more so in the last dungeon, where we're going to see a lot of that.
Are you ready for toast?
Milk toast! Oh!
Good old toast. So, yeah, this is where we have a little bit more fresh quest. So, go from the code book to get the toast. Now we go back off to the side to go trade in the toast to get a set of equipment off of a good old friend Bolo, and he'll give us the old nuts and bolts, which we need to then do the next little bit of a side quest. So on the way back to Armored Town, I need to get 3 pieces of ore, which will require the electric ability in order to trigger, but one of them will not work until I put nuts and bolts back into it. Hence why we had to go out of our way for that.
Yep. So, in regards to these windmills, you're also going to be seeing Turkey. Whenever he activates the windmills, normally there's an animation that he has to wait for the windmill to blow away the sand, but he can actually just walk out of the room and walk back in, and all the sand's just automatically gone. The windmill just speeds up dramatically for whatever reason after he leaves the room. Oh! Okay. That was pretty unlucky right there.
That's not like me right now. That was just mean. Well, at least I got this room.
Yep. This is the windmill where we got to turn in the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, that particular jump there to get up to the windmill is actually not as simple as it may seem. In a number of instances with the bonker torches, the idea is you need to be able to preemptively know what room you're entering, and as the screen's loading in, you pull back before you pull forward on your attack, or pull forward on your movement. That enables you to actually reduce your speed and then reposition your speed to get past the gap without bonking. Also, as I'm picking up the ore, I'm also getting the bonker tortoise charges charged up, pre-done, so by the time we've picked it up, it's fully charged, and I just release it during the collection animation. And it actually triggers up automatically on the first available frame. Just a little bit of optimization there.
Now that we've got our ore, we're going to go and turn it into the armor baron. And in return, he's going to make us into a bunch of figurines.
Yeah, we are now collectibles.
Correct. And trying to escape, he doesn't quite like that, so we got a little enemy gauntlet right here. We're actually going to see Turkey use the Seer Dance here to make these eyeballs visible. Normally they're invisible, but Seer Dance makes them visible. And then we get the drool stained doll. Kind of gross, but we need it, so we're going to pick it up anyways.
Yep, that's going to trigger off another little
fetch quest.
Another little fetch quest here.
This one's a lot small. This one's a lot shorter though. It is all in one town.
This is one of them ones where it's like why? But yeah, it's fine. So yeah, we pretty much we're back to Armour Town, and the entire trade quest takes place in the town itself. The first doll people of Pirate's Curse play will probably recognise who this young fella is.
Branson.
The old Branson doll. Branson doll gives us a good old manly doll.
We're so manly. Look at him.
Yet. One more doll to go. Yeah, I mean, I thought Branson was the manly doll, but apparently not manly enough. The manly doll gives us the scary doll. Now we can go say hi to the lady that we got the fusion stone from to begin. This will allow us to go into our next den of evil, as I'm going to destroy a tiny little pot that I had some infamy with, which we will not talk about here.
Alright, now we've got the boiler. At least in Out of Bounds, the boiler was a pretty cool part of the run, but we're not in Out of Bounds. The boiler will utilize the Spark Dance and also these little, some puzzles, and on top of that, we've got some gauntlets as well.
Yeah, I've also got lucky with a card there. This is a card I don't traditionally use as much, but this is one of the minor cards, but over the course of a run can actually save a good few seconds. So that's the Skeleton Knight card. So what that does, it actually reduces my Bonker Tortoise charge by half. So it'll be about half a second to charge it up versus the full second. In most cases, it's not too much of... Oh, there's a There we go. But yeah, not much of a major, but in some cases it can actually help out, quite useful.
Like right there. And now Turkey has to use the seer dance to actually find the solution to this puzzle over there. Pretty nice solution. Getting 3 eyeballs and some fire. And doing that spawns a key. You saw one of those other puzzles earlier. The combination for that is later on in the dungeon, but it shouldn't take too long to get there. This is another part where that driller card saves a bit more time.
Alright, we're just going to make our way to the mini-boss once again.
I wonder who this one's going to be.
I'm going to offer no prize to anyone who can guess it.
Is it Risky Boots? It's Risky Boots!
What a shock. I'm going to leave you to talk about the next transformation because I don't like it for reasons of Sonic. Sonic. Big the Cat has ruined it for me forever.
Oh no, not why would Big ruin the frog transformation for you?
Why do you think?
I love the frog mini game. Anyways,
I might need a new commentator.
No, come on. It may have tortured me as a kid, but I love it. I look back on it fondly now. Anyways, we've got the frog transformation now, which lets us swim through water. There ain't a whole ton much to it other than that, but coming up, I'll explain a little bit more. There's a little bit of IGT time save coming up with the frog transformation.
I had some input issues going there. Damn. Well, when I say input issues, I'm not blaming the game for that. I mean, just my inputting is a little off. I don't think for now we can pass it over. I think, unless you've got anything else you need to add, Jake.
Well, I was gonna talk about the poison water coming up real quick. So while Turkey's getting to that poison, doing this enemy gauntlet, in the next room, I believe, there's gonna be a bunch of poison water. Normally, you need to use Refresh Dance to get through it, but in beginner mode, we have unlimited auto potions. So it is faster with in-game time to heal through the water with auto potions rather than curing the water with Refresh Dance. Saves a small amount of time versus doing the Refresh Dance. Well, if we did use real time, I believe this would probably be slower.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
It's basically the only time save is the time it takes to actually trigger the Refresh Dance itself.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it. But yeah, other than that, pretty much we just got some lockout rooms that are coming up, which is just gem collection. So I believe at this point we can pass over, and I need to keep a pattern in my memory for a short period of time, so I'm going to need to focus on that for a bit. So yeah, if you got anything you want to talk about, donation or anything, then feel free to do so.
Thanks. So if you're just joining us, you're watching Game Over Cancer, and we are here all week raising money for the Canadian Cancer Society. Incredible organization. So they offer a variety of services and programs to support people with cancer and their families and their loved ones. Some of the services they provide a cancer information helpline so that they'll answer cancer-related questions over the phone or email or live chat, so whatever works for you. They also provide assistance with finding wigs, head coverings, breast prosthesis, or other accessories. They have an online community for people with cancer, Cancer Society, survivors and caregivers, so people can find connection, share experience, and exchange information. They have camps for summer and year-round for children and youth, accommodations for people who need to travel to receive treatment, transportation to get to and from cancer-related appointments, community services, peer support groups. They're just offering so much. So when you're donating, you are giving so many opportunities and so much assistance to so many people across Canada. So thank you. If you want to donate, hit !D in the chat. Do you want me to keep going?
We're about to come up to the next boss, so I think we're good.
Okay, let's do this boss.
Yep. There's a little bit more poison water right there. We're just gonna damage right through it. But now we've got our next boss coming up, the anglerfish siren. This is the second bit of major RNG throughout this run. She can do a couple of different things. She'll start off by teleporting in the background, and she can either do a few attacks to throw some eyeballs across the screen, in which she's intangible, or if we're lucky, she will just teleport to one of the platforms on the side.
What we got then?
A little bit unlucky with the eyeballs.
Okay.
And okay.
Oh, never
Pretty
mind. Never mind. Top platform, mate.
That's all good. Still pretty decent RNG. One attack is not too bad.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, the RNG so far in this run has been decent. My execution has been subpar. I mean, that's just me being blunt, but we're good. We're good.
Still pretty good.
Alive. As long as I don't die, that's the main thing.
Yeah, let's really hope you don't die throughout this run, Turkey. I will be genuinely impressed if you do, considering that you're not supposed to die in beginner mode.
I'm sure I can find something. Alright, so let's go fetchies.
Yep, back to fetch questing. Turkey's gonna teleport to the laboratory to get to the bottom of the map as quick as possible. We're going to be headed back to Deep Sea Domain to start our next fetch quest with a dog.
Yeah, we literally fetch. Good boy.
If you have any more donations, you can probably read them off right here, since we're just back to fetch questing.
Sure, thanks. Everyone loves a good fetch quest, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, one
let's
or
get
two,
into...
maybe.
Yeah. Let's get a little bit into the history of the Canadian Cancer Society. So they were officially formed in 1938, so super long time ago, and they started off as the Canadian Society for the Control of Cancer, and then they decided they're going to change their name to Canadian Cancer Society. A decade later, they began funding cancer research, and so since 1947, Canadian Cancer Society has funded thousands of researchers and invested more than $2 billion in cancer research, which is just mind-blowing. The Canadian Cancer Society's investments in cancer research have enabled incredible progress. Today, about 64% of Canadians diagnosed with cancer will survive at least 5 years after their diagnosis, and this is up from 55% in the early 90s. In the 1940s, when this organization was just getting established, the survival rate was about 25%. Some cancers, like thyroid and testicular, have survival rates of over 95%. So cool. Again, if you want to donate, hit !D in the chat. It'll take you to our donation page, and you can donate in any currency you want. We'll get it, and we'll use it for good.
Awesome. Now we are in the mines. We got a fusion stone from the ghost lady back at the entrance of Whaler. And in the mines lies our last dance, which I'll explain once we get there. Just got a bit more drilling to get through.
So far, not too bad to the mines.
Yeah, pretty nice run through it.
So yeah, this will be the final dance upgrade that we get, which is going to be the Quake dance. So this is similar to the electric shock dance. Does a bit more damage, but it's mostly situational once again. So I'll be able to shake the screen and take out certain things around us in order to gain us access. It can be used on certain enemies, and it'd be better in them. Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong rooms here. Be better in certain standard rooms in comparison. With certain enemies, if this was like the legacy mode run or something like that, it'd be much more useful, as it does like 999 damage to certain rock types. So we're going Pokemon here.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It's not quite as useful as the Spark Dances in terms of just damage output for the most part, simply because it is a lot slower than Spark Dance. Spark Dance is a much quicker AoE. At least in the Legacy mode run, we did use it a bit more often with like you said, the rock enemies and also the red Wetman in Flying Fortress. We would use it there as well, because after that and a Spark Dance, I believe killed red Wetman.
It was one of the earlier renditions of how we dealt with Wetman in a later dungeon. So in that scenario, Quake, if you're able to take out the Scorpman enemy and get his card, will boost the attack power of the Quake, and Quake would take out the blue variants in one go, would take out the red variants in one go with the card, but it takes about 5 seconds of time to actually trigger a Quake. Later on, we determined getting the Batgirl card for the electric abilities damage output was more beneficial, as it's 3 seconds of charge. It allows us to take out the blue ones in one and the red ones in two.
Yeah. It also uses quite a bit less magic as well, which magic consumption economy was a bit more important back in the Legacy runs. But now at this shop, you're gonna see Turkey pick up a couple of Silky Creams and some shampoo as well. The Silky Creams increase his hair up speed, so he'll be able to attack much faster. Where in a mode where you do a lot of damage with your hair ups alone, it's gonna be very valuable for taking out bosses and other enemies very quickly. And then the shampoo increases his damage. Normally it would increase his damage by 5, but because we're in beginner mode, it increases it by 20. So now he's going to be doing 120 damage per hair whip, which is going to be very useful for this upcoming dungeon. But first, we still got more fetch questing. I think this is the longest set of fetch quests
this is
between
pretty
dungeons
much
in the game.
Yeah, pretty much. This is a case of you go to the ghost dog to get its collar, get that traded in for the, we'll get that found out to find the fusion stone. You can then go and get the next breakdance ability whilst picking up the 2 bits of armlets. Well, once you've done that, you go back to the ghost dog to get her to actually put them together for you, because we can't do that ourselves. And now we're on our way here to get it powered up.
And then after that, we can finally go to our second to last dungeon, or Den of Evil, as they're called normally.
You can tell you're a Pirate's Curse runner when you start calling them Dens of Evil. Unfortunately, I know that because I'm a Pirate's Curse runner as well.
In my brain, I'm just so used to calling them dungeons, even though I know they're technically like labs or dens of evil, are the technical Shantae terms.
So and at that point, I'm pretty sure the majority of the audience are probably going, "What are they talking about? They're labs, they're dungeons. Just call them dungeons."
They're just dungeons. It's just semantics. That's all it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, we've got this powered up now, and very much this will be the power source that we need to actually open up the final dungeon. That's it really. We are almost there though. We're almost there.
So close, so close. We just have to use the power rod to power up the deep sea domain so that the door to the second to last dungeon is opened up.
I mean, with how long some of these fetch quests are, I might want to start doing them in like TV series or something like that. I have to do it episonically.
We need a commercial break in the middle of them.
Yeah, might need it. But other than that, it's primarily just movement, which I mean the bulk of this run is movement, which is why beginner mode is usually a favourite for me to perform, because it eliminates all the gem grindy faff. And pretty much anything that we purchase is just due to what we actually am able to get on site, kind of thing. You know, it's on the route. It's not like we're going out of our way for any of the gems.
Yeah, they're just sort of there.
Yeah, no more bullet sponge bosses. Which we still upgrade the hair for this run specifically, mainly for the final fighter, because she, even in beginner mode, takes quite a pounding to actually eliminate. So it's still very useful here.
Yeah. Normally, a lot of these boss fights would take like upwards of like 1.5 to 2 minutes in legacy mode, versus in this run they take about, I'd say, like 15 to 30 seconds, generously. But now we are onto our second to last dungeon, Squid Pit. This dungeon differs from a lot of other dungeons. It is an enemy gauntlet. So Turkey's going to be dropping down to the bottom right away to pick up a key. And once he goes there, he's going to be heading into every single room, one at a time, and taking out a bunch of enemies. You're going to see him using the Spark Dance a lot to quickly kill enemies throughout the room. On top of using the Balker Toterist at certain points to kill a buttload of weaker enemies as well, as such.
Yeah, this is pretty much sort of a throwback to Risky's Revenge. Is one of their dungeon areas was a challenge tower. Not quite the same as Ascending Floors, but it's pretty much kind of a throwback to that. Yeah. Other than that, from a story perspective, this actually, I mean, with Boss Cutting Hex, we haven't really spoke the story too much because I don't think we really remember the story too well. But effectively, what is going on in this dungeon is Squid Baron's game playing out live. And let's just say he's not happy about that by the time we're done.
No, we sort of demolished this dungeon very, very quickly. But I do love watching this dungeon get played through in beginner mode. It is a very, very stylish with how you take out the enemies as quickly as possible. Just the variety of tactics that you have to use to take out the enemies is pretty fun to watch.
I mean, other than that, I mean, there's nothing else we can really say. Oh, I ain't got no magic. Sorry, I'm on the step. Yeah, there's not really anything else to talk about. So unless you've got anything to add, Jake, then again, it'll be okay to passing over.
I don't got anything else to say.
It's just eight rooms of lockout fights, effectively. So,
yep.
Yeah, feel free to jump in if you like.
Sure, I'll give an update on our bid war that's going on. So we do have our bid war for the Metroid Prime randomizer, which is coming up later this evening. You get to choose between the fusion suit or the default suit, and the fusion suit is still in the lead. So again, if you disagree and you think that the default suit should be the one that we see, get your donations in, because we don't actually have all night. We've got a lot of the night, but not all night. Did you want me to keep going?
Yeah, we've probably got like another 4 rooms after this, so you've got plenty of time if you've got plenty of things you'd like to talk about.
Sounds good. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Canadian Cancer Society's Camp Good Times programs. They provide a unique summer and year-round recreation programs for children and youth from 0 to 18 years of age with a cancer diagnosis, their families, and bereaved families. Through these programs, children and teens living with cancer or beyond build resilience, strength, and independence to see that life is bigger than cancer. At Camp Good Times, campers and families can enjoy traditional camp activities while receiving care from staff and a 24-hour medical team. Camp creates an open and accepting environment where lifelong friendships can be made. So that's one of the programs that your donations may be helping to fund. Would you like me to keep going?
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, like I said, we got a little bit before the end of this the end of this gauntlet, so you were free to keep going.
Free to keep going. Excellent. We have prizes. We have 4 games that we are giving away from the donations. So we have, sorry, I just lost my list here. There it is. Okay. I'm just so mesmerized by this run. It's just incredible.
It's fun to watch, isn't it?
Right? So fun to watch. Yeah. But now, okay, back to business. Thanks to our friends at Capcom, we'll be giving away Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 4, and Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection 1 and 2. And thanks to ProPiece, we'll also giving away a copy of Monster Hunter Wilds. So a minimum $5 donation gets you into the draw to win one of those 4 codes. Now, still
going.
Still going.
Still going. We're almost done. We're getting there.
That's cool.
I'd say we got about 2 rooms left to go.
Well, the Canadian Cancer Society is just this huge organization doing so much, so I can talk about them all night if you'd like. They take a comprehensive approach against cancer. So it's not just these programs that we've talked about. They're funding groundbreaking cancer research. Like, they're the country's national charitable funder of research into all types of cancer. They're providing a national support system. So we've talked a bit about some of those supports over the course of this run. And these support systems help people better manage life with cancer, find community and connection, and build wellness and resilience. And having that sense of community and stuff has a huge impact on outcomes for cancer patients. They also advocate for healthy policies with the government. They're shaping the health policies to help prevent cancer and support those living with the disease. And they're a trusted source of information about all types of cancer. So really, your donations just have this huge impact into like everyone's well-being. I think everyone's been touched by cancer, and cancer is the one thing that I think we can all agree sucks. It's the one thing we can all agree on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
We finally hit the end of our gauntlet right here. Turkey's activating this last platform right here. I believe this is it this last? Yeah, this is the last gauntlet.
Yeah. That's the last room for me.
Yep, he's gonna head all the way back down, hit a button, and then.
And guess what?
Go
The
ahead,
mini
Turkey.
boss.
Yep, mini boss time. This is a mini boss that we haven't seen before actually in this run. Except we have. It's just ski boots. Again.
Unfortunately, this does require saving one more genie, and considering all the genies that we've saved so far, that leaves only one, and I'd rather leave her in that cage if I'm honest.
Yeah,
But we have to progress.
turns out she wasn't really a genie. She was actually just Roddy Tops. One of my favorite characters, of course, throughout the Shantae series. Turkey's not as big of a fan. But it turns out she was just disguising herself as a half genie so that she could get to this island and not feel left out of the adventures. But now we are headed on to our second to last boss. I believe it's Octosiren. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Octosiren it has sort of a memory game component to her. She has these brains on each of these columns, and you have to hit them in the correct order in order for her weak spot to appear. To do that, he has to use the Seer Dance, and it's going to flash them in the correct order.
I forgot.
Up close.
It's been one of those days for me. At least I didn't say brain fart every 10 seconds. I was tempted to.
And after one combination and a few smacks, that is the boss.
Yeah, my brain's having a field day, it seems, with this one. Always when it's on a marathon show. Who'd have thought? Well. Anyway, time for me to escape, so to speak. So I'll leave that with you whilst I hopefully get one of the last main bits of RNG in my favour in the Siren main card.
Yep. So now that we've gotten finished Squid Pit, we are now having to escape the service area. The service area, I believe, is not collapsing, but it's getting ready to get launched up into the sky. And on the way to escape, there's gonna be this new enemy that has popped up called the Siren Man, which has a card that speeds up the frog swim speed. So Turkey's gonna be killing them as we go through to hopefully get that card. No luck so far. There aren't that many Siren Men throughout this little area, but they are more prevalent in the final dungeon.
Exactly, and to be fair, when it comes to this particular part, getting it this early would be, of course, best case, but it's not the most important thing to make sure you get because of the fact that you're there's only that one bed of water between. Oh, what? Oh, sorry, I don't know what just happened there. You'll see in a second. Sorry, that caught me off guard.
What the heck was that? Okay. I don't know what happened there.
I don't either.
That looked like a weird, transformation teleport thing.
Well, for me, it was more the fact that I landed, I got caught in a crevice, and then kicked right back in the direction I was going.
Yeah.
There's never happened before. Moment for
That's
me.
never happened before.
I've never seen that before. No.
I haven't either.
So with the escape done, we have probably one of the more tacked on parts here. Luckily, it's not a fetch quest, but it turns out the game decided to throw 4 more bosses at you in the style of these silos.
Yep, these wind turbines, or not really. Yeah, they are silos. Normally, they provide much more of a threat in Legacy mode, but here we just kind of smack them a few times and they explode. So it plays the scary boss music without really being that scary. They were a bit scarier in Legacy mode, where they took a bit longer to kill and actually dealt quite a bit of damage.
Okay.
But yep, now Turkey has to head over to the far right side of the island to hit another silo.
So there's 4 of these in total that we need to do. Basically, I think these are the things that are powering the ship that Risky's just taken a hold of from the story. So this will basically bring the ship down low enough for us to be able to enter, so we can do the final, what will be the final dungeon, so to speak, which is pretty much just a start to finish test of your ability throughout the course of the playthrough, putting all your abilities to good use. Which don't think we actually really mentioned what we got from Squid Pit in the variant of Octadash or Octajump. So this is pretty much like the cannon from Pirates Coast, except this 1 cannon less, but it also jumps higher, so it basically gives you a triple jump.
Yeah, my bad for forgetting to mention it. We were too focused on Roddy Tops existing.
And I've already forgotten about half of the things in this run as it is, so you know, it's okay. See, I mean, I jumped too early. I forget everything. All I know is I press buttons and things happen. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound right? It
does sound familiar.
Okay, that's all right then.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We gotta head over to the left side of the island now to get the last 2 power silos. They're gonna be taking about 1 more hit each per silo, but still not really, nothing really to worry about, as Turkey's just gonna take them out like they're nothing. It's like squishing an ant.
Yeah, pretty much anything in beginner mode is like that.
True, except like the final boss, I would say. Even then, you still kind of squish her, but
yeah, it's just to say now we've got the hair upgrades. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unfortunately, one of the things that they decided to do when they programmed this game was basically all the bosses get harder from process of just having a higher health pool. I mean, even not after Siren, but like the anglerfish beforehand has about 800 health. So fortunately, we're doing 100 points of damage at times, 8 strikes and done.
Yeah.
But that's all the tower's done. Now we can enter the Flying Fortress. So it's a start to finish run of everything coming into play. Main things I'll be looking for, hopefully if I can get the Siren card just to increase speed in water, that'll be great. And then it's just mainly just hoping the RNG in the final fight goes well. Other than that, I will go silent for this just to try and focus as much as I can, because this area is probably easily the most technical zone to be able to complete at speed.
Yes. It is a very fun area for the game to watch, but yeah, like Turkey said, it's also very technical. There's a lot of enemy gauntlets, and the movement can also be quite tricky, with Turkey having to mix in the Bonker Tortoise and the Newt constantly. Normally this area would be a bit scarier with the spikes, as spikes do void you out, but again, because this is beginner mode, it actually makes it a tiny bit easier to go through, but it's still quite scary. It's easy to lose a lot of time in this area. Lots of drilling, quite a bit of swimming as well. I don't know how much time the Siren Man card saves with swimming, but I believe it's about 10-15 seconds.
I don't remember exactly, but roughly Siren Man card will speed up the frog. Well, so I think the drill is close to double the speed for drill. I think the frog card is about triple or close to triple, maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Getting some good Wetman RNG as well. Dying in 1 hit. If you do have any donations that you'd like to read here, now is a good time to do so.
Thanks. So if you're just tuning in, you're watching Game Over Cancer. Game Over Cancer is Atlantic Canada's largest console gaming fundraiser. We raise money for the Canadian Cancer Society through many video game related events every year. And these events range from in-person console gaming experiences to online speedrunning marathons like you're watching right now, featuring talent from all over the world. Game Over Cancer has raised over $44,000 for charity since 2018. And if you would like to add to that total, you can do that very easily. Hit !D in the chat. That's going to bring you to our donation page where you can donate in the currency of your choice. Those donations can go towards any one of our upcoming incentives or our prizes. Our next incentive coming up is the Metroid Prime Randomizer Suit Bid War. You can choose between the fusion suit or the default suit, and the fusion suit is in the lead right now. So if you want to change that up, put your donations in and vote for default. If you want to make sure default cannot stand a chance at getting in, you get your donations in and vote for fusion. Would you like me to keep going?
Yeah, you can keep going a little bit.
Excellent. So the Canadian Cancer Society is offering a number of cancer prevention programs, and a lot of these center around quitting smoking, because smoking is bad for you, and they like to help you quit. So some of these programs are aimed towards like specifically women. They also offer these programs over the phone or in person or like text messages, and they also have culturally appropriate ones. So if you are in an Indigenous community, they're urban or on a reserve, they offer culturally appropriate and informed assistance for helping quit smoking, which I think is really cool. I can tell you a bit more about the Canadian Cancer Society if you'd like, or if you have more stuff to talk about, you can take it from here.
I think there is that cycle room coming up if you want to talk about that real quick, Turkey.
Well, sorry?
That the room with the cycle. I'll talk about it.
I'm not sure what I'm about, sorry.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Well, I guess I don't exactly remember where it's coming up there, so never mind. You can keep going. Sorry about that.
We came prepared, quite clearly.
Yeah, so did I. No, it is all good. Again, just mesmerized by this run, really enjoying it. It is so cool. So cool. So the Canadian Cancer Society offers the largest support system in the country for those with cancer as well as their family, friends, and caregivers. They provide programs and services to help answer questions about cancer, manage life with cancer, find community and connection, and build wellness and resilience. These programs are offered in person, online, and over the phone, and many of them are available in different languages, so not just English and French. And you can learn more about these programs and anything else that the Canadian Cancer Society is doing by visiting cancer.ca. Want me to keep going some more?
I just remember what he was talking about now, but we've already passed it. He's on about the one cycle room there. Well, if I could quickly talk about it. So there was a room where I kind of just had to went through in one crack. So charging the bunker torch off in the room prior to it gives me enough time to just about get past the crusher in order to actually reach where we need. Other than that, I think probably better carry on from here anyway, Jay, because we're pretty much approaching the final fight. As we have the Empress Sirens going to come in 2 phases. First phase won't be too bad. We just have to hope that she teleports nearby to us, and we'll go from there. And I'll leave the rest to you.
Yep. All right. So first of all, we're going to be stuck in this cage, and we just have to do any dance to get out of it. The refresh dance works. But now we've got Empress Siren. She has quite a bit of health. Unfortunately, she teleported upwards, so it's a little harder to hit her. You see, even with beginner mode, with all of our damage upgrades and hair upgrades, that still took quite a bit of hits. But nicely done by Turkey for that first phase. Now the second phase is a bit more mean. What's going to be happening in the second phase is she's going to grow very, very large, and she's going to have all these bracelets with crystals in them. which crystals are active is completely RNG, and also you only have these rock platforms to work with, which are also RNG. They move up and down, and sometimes they can be a little sparse around. But so far, it seems like we're getting pretty good RNG right here. This is a pretty quick fight so far. There are 2 bracelets on her legs, 2 on her shoulders, 2 on her hips. And then after that, we hit the head phase. Oh, unlucky platforms there. As you can see, this fight can be very unforgiving in terms of where those platforms are. You can see there's a bunch right here, but there weren't a whole ton down there. But now we're on to her head phase, where we're going to break her crown and her earring crystals. And then after that, we have to break her head crystal, and then it's time. Time's coming up very shortly. And, oh, nope. All right, so because Turkey took a little bit longer, she used her laser attack, which makes the crystal intangible. But once it becomes free, Turkey's gonna smack it a couple times.
I'm 1 strike away. That's all I can say. I'm 1 strike away.
And that's time.
Oh, that was not bad RNG for the end fight. Rocks kind of let me down in 1 point, but the main thing that actually let me down, if anything, was there's a weird thing with how the rocks work. So when you're trying to jump off, especially with the Octo, yeah, when you land on a rock, there are times where the rocks collision are a bit weird. So it doesn't register as landing straight away. So as soon as you try to jump instantly off that rock, it doesn't register as landing, so you don't regen your jumps. So yeah, that happened a couple of times. So unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah.
As I say, though, it is an IGT. Well, we base off IGT. I mean, RTA is obviously time to be able to show. Let me just see what we got from the IGT perspective, just for the general. So what do we got? Based on what I've been running, I think like a low 115 should be about right. Yeah, that's about right.
Nice.
So not
too shabby.
Considering some of the executional faults I had. I mean, keep it to that point was actually better than I thought it was going to go. But as you could tell, I don't do well when I'm trying to talk and run simultaneously. So I'm literally fishing for excuses now. Why not? No. It's not a bad run, to be fair. RNG was decent. Could have done better with that, but I'm not going to complain. That was a good showing.
It was a great run. Yeah. Before you go, I just want to read one more donation. Oh, 2 more donations. So we've got $5 US from Plasma Snake, who says, "Good luck, have fun, runners, comms, and viewers. Game over, man." I mean, cancer. Game over, cancer. Then we also, we also have $110.01 from Jacko, who says, "Looks like the default suit needs some love." So on that note, Turkey, Jake, amazing run. Why don't you tell people where we can find you?
Sure thing. So if you want to learn more about Shantae speedrunning, or like any Shantae game, or in fact any Way Forward game, we have the Way Forward speedrunning Discord. We don't have the vanity URL, but if you go to any of the speedrun.com pages for any Shantae game or any Way Forward game, you should find the link to our Discord. We talk about all the upcoming Shantae games as well. I believe Risky Revolution will be coming out probably shortly, where we're going to be routing that out and finding glitches and having fun with that. So if you're interested in that or learning any other Shantae game, feel free to join that Discord. Is there anything else you want to say about it, Turkey?
Not really, man. As anyone who wants to find me or follow me, I'm somewhere on Earth. I'm a large, fat man, quite bold. So if you see me from behind, you know where to find me. It's a dumb way to end it, isn't it? Why not? But now I've been running the entire series, starting with Pirate's Curse almost 10 years ago now. So the speed runs can be a lot of fun. Depends on what you're looking for. There's something out there for everyone. You have to accept RNG, unfortunately, with some of the games. But in the case of this one, this is probably one of the strongest ones for overall movement tech. So if you're a junkie for that kind of thing, yeah, this is a good one to go with. But it is quite a long run. If you're interested in the Outer Bounds one, it's much shorter. But yeah, you'll be skipping a bit for that one. Other than that, I've got nothing else to say apart from shout out to the community as always. Thanks for having us here at Game Over Cancer once again, and Yeah, we'll see you in the near future.
Yep. Thank you
Excellent.
guys.
Thank you.